Hey all, and welcome back to the third HellfireComms Disneython. Today we're taking a look at a relatively modern sequel to a very old film. Yes, that's right. It is in fact Tron Legacy, and rather than waffle on about it, let's just get right on into it. Everything you need to sync up our commentary to your copy of the movie, instructions-wise at least, we can't, provide you with a copy of the movie, can be found in the video description. Have a look there if you're a bit confused. We're going to count you down, and there'll be a timer on screen so you can follow along and whatnot. Here we go, Tron Legacy, in 3, 2, 1. So, Rich, why exactly did they decide to make a sequel to this so many years after the fact? And, what was your reaction to it being announced?
I mean, honestly, I have absolutely no idea why they decided to do this. From what I can see, they began a concerted effort in 2005 to do it. I think because the original Tron had gained such a cult following, that they thought, oh, this is a well we can tap into. You know, like how we've had the whole live-action remake well that they have been delving into as of late. Rebooting old franchises in brand new high definition seemed to be sort of order of the day in 2005. The film didn't actually come out until 2010, but I think that was sort of why it was the cultness, and they thought, oh, let's just go in for that, and it'll do brilliantly. And it kind of, I think it did alright commercially, but critically it was sort of just like, it's alright.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone say, they hate it besides Spoonie, but what doesn't he hate, really? And, obviously this was adapted into Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, so, full disclosure, we know how it ends, despite the fact, I've never seen it. Have you watched this before?
Nope, never seen it, and I've never actually sat through the entirety of the original Tron either. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it was because sort of when I last tried to watch it, I don't know if it was actually when the original Tron turned up in the Disneython, or it might have been before that, I don't know, but I do remember sitting down, about to watch it, got about 10 minutes in, I was just like, I'm a bit bored. I can't quite do this, so then I just moved on and was like, you know what, sod it.
It's kind of dry, and just to give some context to what Richie just said, this is the third Disneython, but before the first one actually came around, there was something called the Protothon, I believe, which was 10 or so movies. That was basically what the first Disneython, would eventually turn out to be, and I believe I did Tron with Sonic movies in there, and
yeah,
that was a good commentary. I actually quite like the original Tron. It's not an amazing movie or anything, but you've got David Warner in there, you've got Bruce Boxleitner in there. It's fun, if a little bit schlocky sci-fi. And I will say, with films like this, the element that I like and that I think actually works is moving the film forward in terms of time.
Yes.
This will basically tell the story of Flynn's son, and so on. And, that's good. I think if they tried to make a sequel and it was 1 or 2 years after the original, or straight after, that wouldn't be important enough. But, with this, and obviously it's called Tron Legacy, we get to see the film's universe after it's moved on. And also CGI Jeff Bridges is a little bit uncanny.
Yeah, they really went sort of full pelt with their technology for this, because it was just yes, let's CGI make Jeff Bridges look a lot younger than he actually is. And obviously at the time this was impressive. We've gotten a lot better since then. I mean, primarily I'm thinking of Robert Downey Jr. in, oh god, which is it, Iron Man 3?
It's Civil War.
It's Civil War, that's the one, where, really young Robert Downey Jr., I'm just like, what? Because it does look so good.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, we've got other instances where there's impressive use of CGI, i.e. CGI, Tarkin and Leia in Rogue One, which, well, not perfect, are at least very technologically advanced and quite impressive from that side of things. We've not quite gotten to fully perfect just yet.
It's not to say, this CGI is bad or anything, it's just showing its age.
Yeah, and that's always going to happen. I mean, you look back at, the original Toy Story, and then you look at, obviously what we're doing now with, Kingdom Hearts 3, and you're just bloody hell. How far technology has moved in that amount of time. And that's not even that long. I mean, think about it, like 30-ish years by this point-ish. That's, like, in the grand scheme of history, that's nothing. And, like, technology has just improved so stupidly quickly, it's ludicrous.
What is Flynn doing? The absolute state of him. What do you think, Rich? Is Flynn alive?
Well, hate to be sort of the bearer of spoilers, but, you know, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, yeah, he kind of is, but then he kind of isn't, because, you know, digitalness.
That was a bit weird. Did he mean to go demonic at the end of that speech? Yes, I'm loving this shit!
I mean, I have to say, I do really like that they got Jeff Bridges back for this, because I would say, obviously, despite the fact that I don't know the original Tron all that well, Jeff Bridges is sort of one of the iconic parts of that film.
Yeah.
And so, kind of bringing him back all these years later, it's the way of tying it in and doing a sort of relatively good job of it. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen the film, so I can't comment whether it is a good job of it or not, but I don't remember anybody thinking that it was a terrible idea to bring him back. They were just like, yes, we love it, come back, Jeff Bridges. Rather than, obviously, what we've sort of had with the Star Wars situation, where people were initially just like, oh my god, and now they're just like, oh no. And that's a very mixed set of feelings on that front.
Mm-hmm. One thing we absolutely have to cover before, too much time goes on, the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, so obviously the soundtrack for this film is done by Daft Punk,
yes!
Which was such a big thing when it came out. Like, so much of the sort of advertising stuff, from what I remember, was based on Daft Punk, because they're maybe not as popular now as they used to be, but they're still very well known, and particularly at the time, they were huge. So, I mean, the director, basically, and just to kind of point this out, the director is a guy called Joseph Kosinski.
Mm-hmm.
He basically didn't want to replicate the innovative, if I can say the word properly, the innovative electronic score that was originally done for Tron by Wendy Carlos. So rather than going with a traditional film composer, they wanted to try something fresh and different. And the fact that electronic bands were quite big at the time, he eventually ended up choosing Daft Punk. He knew the band were more than just dance music guys, because obviously they'd done side projects like their film Electroma.
Mm-hmm.
So they contacted them in 2007, whilst the film was in its early stages of production, and even though because they were touring at the time, the producers couldn't really get in touch with them. But Kosinski persevered and got them to take part because they were huge Tron fans. And basically their meeting with him was almost like they were interviewing him to make sure that he was going to hold up to the Tron legacy.
Oh, wow, you did it, you said the thing.
I know. So the soundtrack was actually they started composing it before production had even begun, and is notably different to the rest of the band's work, obviously because it's an orchestral score, with synth stuff. And I'm looking to see if there's anything else in there. There's nothing on that page, but I think that there is on the soundtrack one, just to make sure that we get all the information in there. Okay, so one of the things that's quite cool is that the film is ultimately, I think, cut to the music. Which is something that I always really, 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 really appreciate. With any sort
it is satisfying, is what it is.
Exactly. It makes everything just so much more effective. It's why something like whatever Edgar Wright does with his films, in terms of like Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and his action scenes are always sort of done to the music, and it just elevates them above anything else in terms of an action sequence, and they're just incredible.
Is Bruce Boxleitner actually in the movie?
Let me see. Yes, he is actually.
Okay. I forget his character's name in the original, but Tron is based on him.
Yes, so Bruce Boxleitner is back as Alan Bradley,
There you go.
an executive consultant for Encom. And also he does play Tron. And may or may not be back as Tron in this film.
It'd be a bit weird to have a Tron movie without Tron in it, I'm just saying.
I mean, it would be very, very weird to have that be the case, but you never know, sometimes these things can happen.
That's him, right? The grey-haired dude?
I believe so.
I realise I'm asking you to, pick out an actor who you're not familiar with. I understand that.
Yes, but thankfully Wikipedia page does bring it up, and yes, it does look like him, so we're good. They've just shoved some glasses on him, so that's fine.
Tell me a little bit more about the cast, mate. Are there any notable names here? Any new names?
So I'd say you've got a few big names in here. Obviously, Jeff Bridges. You've got Garrett Hedlund as Sam, who's he's a name, but nothing huge. He's been in a number of films. He was actually in Aragon, which terrible film, but I still have it has a place in my heart, just about. He played James Hook in the kind of maligned Pan. Yeah, he's been in a few things, but I don't think he's been in anything that's been particularly well loved. But hey, that happens. There is also Olivia Wilde as Cora. Everyone does really quite like Olivia Wilde. It seems she's, I think because they all are just like, oh my god, she's so sexy. That's basically sort of why a lot of people go towards Olivia Wilde.
Also, isn't she a descendant of Oscar Wilde?
She might very well be. I mean, I'd have to go hunting through her, her Wikipedia page.
Well, let's save that for when she pops up. What else you got for me in cast terms?
So, obviously, Bruce Boxleitner. You've also got the delightful Michael Sheen.
Nice.
Who will turn up later. And Michael Sheen actually received the best reviews for his performance in this film. Like, everybody else sort of got mixed to middling reviews for their performances. Like, people weren't really the biggest fans, but they really, really liked Michael Sheen.
Good. He's a great actor, honestly.
Oh, he really is. He's incredible.
It's always a bitch when your software launch doesn't go as expected, to be honest. It's like when you push out a video and you notice that, an editing error or something. It's like, son of a bitch, I have to take that down and do it again. I'm so stupid! I
know, it's also like me when I've edited my footage, I've done it into a non-com version so that I could do my commentary over it, doing my commentary, and I'm just like, oh, and there's a death I didn't edit out. Oh, shite, and now I'm already partway through the films. Partway through recording the audio for the part. Oh, well, guess I'm going to have to leave that one in there. Obviously, I could go back and edit it out and do all that stuff, but I'm far too lazy for that, so it's just like, oh, great, thank you.
Oh, is this the part where he gets on the light cycle and just rides off into the night sky?
I mean, that'd be quite impressive, but I don't think he's planning on doing that. I think he's more thinking about maybe offing himself. I'm not quite sure at this moment in time.
Why would you do this? Your daddy worked so hard!
Well, it's because he's a bit of a dick, because his father abandoned him. Also, that is not really a great thing to be doing. Normally people pull out their parachutes quite a bit earlier than that.
I would have just loved if he smacked onto the ground like a Looney Tunes skit, and then the parachute came out. Oh, God.
To be honest, I feel that that's probably what would have happened jumping off a building of that height. Like, you'd pretty much have to kind of, I think, pull your parachute kind of not very far off of leaping off the building, because if you think about it, when people jump out of planes, they're still like probably higher than most skyscrapers by the time they actually pull the parachutes.
So what was Sam doing at NCOM exactly? Because we were discussing cast and whatnot. I'd like to just get a bit of a refresher on the story.
Well, let me see if I can get to the plot on this Wikipedia page, because it's surprisingly long.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, he likes playing an annual prank on the board of directors, because even though Sam's a primary shareholder in NCOM, he doesn't really like it, because he's just generally pretty pissed, because, yeah, his dad disappeared and abandoned him.
Yeah, I can understand. Like, if a family member abandoned me and they left me like a share of Nintendo, I'd probably be called, like, PS Tom 32 these days.
So that's basically the plot. It's literally just 2 sentences at this point in terms of Wikipedia.
Wow. I like this little bachelor pad Sam's got going on. It kind of reminds me of Bruce Wayne's lair in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got a great view as well. I mean, it's a bit grotty, but it looks pretty damn nice.
I would describe it as bachelor chic.
Yeah, definitely. And also, clearly, he just likes getting topless. That was clearly part of also the reason that they hired him, because that looks like a pretty decent bod.
Wow, Richie. Didn't realise you swung that way.
I don't, but, you know, considering we talked about the sexy Olivia Wilde and why she was hired, clearly this is why they hired Garrett Hedlund. So, equal opportunities.
Correct answer. You know, you can appreciate how someone looks without being of that sexuality. Don't know why I'm trying to make this into a big, like, social movement thing. It just is what it is.
And also, you know, we've been living in sort of grey reality world for about 16 minutes now, and I think we're both quite ready to go full on Tron. And it's just like, come on, let's get the neon blue lights, please. That would be nice.
I think like the real world stuff is actually shot pretty nicely so far, but it's just that it doesn't compare to like the inside of the computer and whatnot.
Exactly. I mean, that's sort of the entire point. Like, they want to make this look sort of glum, not very interesting, but still well shot and stuff, so that then when we do eventually get to the grid, it's going to be sort of one of those just like, oh my god, this is incredible moments. But I think that there's ways of doing that. I'm not quite sure the film's succeeding at the minute in that sense, because you can do it in different ways. So a good example is like The Wizard of Oz. Obviously, the first part of the film is in black and white, and then it suddenly goes Technicolor, and it's incredible. And that sort of works out really nicely because you're not necessarily bored during the black and white bit. I say, having not watched The Wizard of Oz in a ludicrous number of years.
Okay, I thought you were going to say at all, and I would have been a little bit,
No, it's been a very long time. I know that I will have watched it, but I can't remember having done so, even though I know that I've done so.
Okay.
Another good example, actually, would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I just went to go see today, which is amazing.
Oh, everyone's pushing this in my face, and I'm like, I can't watch it because I'm a shut-in.
I know. But basically, the way that works is that you've got a pretty kind of standard, I suppose, visual style. It's still very comic booky and stuff, but the second that a particular instance occurs, I don't want to spoil it because the film's still in cinemas when we're recording this, everything goes even more comic book. Like, you start getting the text boxes popping up and more sound effects appearing, and it just sort of makes everything pop a lot more. So everything's really awesome beforehand, but then it just expands even further. So rather than having the to, oh my god, you get, this is amazing, oh my god, this is amazing. So you've got that sort of different level which I would like to have seen here, but oh well, these things happen.
You may have noticed there was a sign above the arcade that said Space Paranoids, which is actually the name of the world that's representing Tron in Kingdom Hearts 2. In Kingdom Hearts 3, it's just called The Grid.
Kingdom Hearts 3D. Tom, Kingdom Hearts 3 is not yet out, as of when we're recording this.
Yeah, this 80s-ass aesthetic, though, I love it.
I know. Everyone's really, really into their 80s stuff at the minute. I'll be very intrigued to see sort of when we begin to move into the 90s aesthetic again, because you look back at the 90s style and you're just like, what were we thinking?
Yeah,
And also, I'm loving all these arcade sounds. It's making me think to when I went to go see Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet the other week, and that was also really surprisingly good as well.
Look out for that in Disneython 4. When that happens, it won't be 2020, it might be 2021.
Yeah, it's definitely not happening next year.
Don't accept your money. No, get out of here.
Also, I honestly don't know why Sam thought that was going to work. I mean, to be fair, I don't know how really the electricity is working in this place at all, because surely they would have unhooked it by this point.
Huh. This is a new one. Batman has a bookcase that moves away to reveal a fireman's pole, but a secret door behind an arcade machine. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, clearly it's the Tron Cave.
What a silly concept. Anyway. Did that just, move back on its own, or was it, on a hook or something?
I think it moved back on its own. I think the idea is that Sam's gonna get, trapped.
Ah, I see.
But it could also be, on a timer to make sure that nobody secretly finds it. It could be anything, really.
Well, I mean, if, Flynn had something to do with it, it makes sense, because he is kind of a genius with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's very true.
What was Flynn's role in the first movie, if you happen to have that handy? He was a programmer, wasn't he? Because I think he made Tron and so on.
Yeah, so basically, he was a former employee at Encom, and the main protagonist of the first film. He's the manager of Flynn's Video Arcade, where he impresses his patrons with his skills at games that, unknown to them, he actually designed. But he remains determined to find evidence that the CEO, Ed Dillinger, plagiarised Flynn's work to advance his position within the company. Throughout the majority of the film, Flynn travels around the digital world, accompanying Tron, but later discovers that as a user, he commands the physical laws of the digital world, which empowers him beyond the abilities of an ordinary program. Eventually, he enables Tron to destroy the Master Control program shown to oppress the digital world, and upon return to the material world, obtains the evidence necessary to expose Dillinger and becomes Encom's CEO himself.
There you go.
So that is basically Tron in a nutshell.
I miss you, Daddy. Nope. Not there.
No. Jeff Bridges?
Kurt Russell? No, stop getting those mixed up, Tom. I don't know why I do it. I think it's just as they grow older, they seem to look more and more alike.
Yeah, and also they are sort of the two older male actors who both have sort of grey, longish hair that sort of are filling very similar roles in a lot of things. And here we go!
Wow, that was dope.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, I kind of miss the original with that it's kind of like a fax machine in a way. But this is pretty cool as well, just the instant jump. Oh, look at this.
Oh, that is good.
We're using whatever copies of the movie we can find, so this isn't exactly 720p, even though it clearly says 720p. But even so, just the aesthetic alone is amazing.
Oh yeah, it looks gorgeous. I know that, so going to the reviews briefly, someone did have a little bit of a hissy fit over the colorations that they went with. Where is it? Basically, it's that they were disappointed that it didn't go for the more classic coloration of the original went for these more... Oh, here's the one. So, Manohla Dargis of the New York Times avouched that despite its occasional notability, the film's vibrating kaleidoscopic colours that gave the first movie its visual punch have been replaced by a monotonous palette of glassy black and blue and some bursts of orange and yellow. Though she did declare that, or he, I don't know, declared that Tron Legacy was eye-popping.
That's the point of making things black. You set colour on it so they pop.
Exactly, and to be honest, even though I know that the original had sort of that kaleidoscope feel to it, this is much more modern, and I mean, this is basically the modern film's colour palette in quite obvious form.
This scene makes me laugh because I'm just thinking of, like, the Dream Drop Distance adaptation where Sam's talking to Riku, and Riku's like half his height.
I know, it's perfect.
Kind of Cybertronian in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And it just looks... It is just sort of... Whenever you get the red and even just the neon blue, it just pops and just draws the eye straight in, and it's really effective. And
another, like, reason I like the grid, as it's known now, looking like it does, is because thematically it works because it's a corrupted version of the original program, essentially.
Exactly, yes.
We're going to poke you with sticks until you basically get reformatted.
Basically, yeah.
I know he's going to get to Sam, and there's not going to be any reaction. Not even wearing a single neon stripe. Disgusting. Nope, he's not going to get far.
No, he's not.
Never mind. Jesus Christ.
Ooh. Well, I mean, at least we've already got a body count of 1 for this film. I wonder how high it'll go.
I'm saying at least 10. Any more, any less would be disappointing, really.
Yeah, it's very true. Like we're expecting a decent action film here, so yeah, definitely need a good 10 deaths to make this worthwhile.
Oh, hey, it's Daft Punk themselves. I'm joking, of course. They are in the movie, I think, but...
They are, yes.
This is not them. Look out for the iconic robotic helmets.
Basically, yes.
Time to get fashionable, bitch.
You know what this reminds me of?
Uh-huh.
Reminds me of that, you know, the reality show episode of Doctor Who that was in the Eccleston era with Captain Jack and Trinity and Susanna, the robots.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, just, you know, the whole robots stripping the male naked and for no good reason other than to re-outfit him, although obviously in that instance they didn't make it very far when he pulled the gun on them from his derriere.
Yes, his arse dimension, if you will.
Yes.
Cool, there you go. What do you think of the newer aesthetic for, like, the outfits and whatnot?
I think they're quite cool. I mean, they're not necessarily perfect, I suppose, in that they're sort of not necessarily... Let me see if I can start this again, get to an actual decent statement.
Yeah, get to a point, please, Richie.
I think it works. It's enough designed to look good, but it's not so overly designed that it's a bit ridiculous. I've actually got the bit that I wanted to get to here on the Wikipedia page in terms of like the design and all of that. So the skin-tight suits worn by the actors were reminiscent of the outfits worn by the actors in the original film. Kaczynski believed that the costumes could be made to be practical due to the computerized nature of the film, as physically illuminating each costume would be costly to the budget. Christine Bieslin Clark worked with Michael Wilkinson in designing the lighted costumes, which used electroluminescent lamps derived from a flexible polymer film and featured hexagonal patterns. The light passed through the suit via light tape, a substance composed of Honeywell lamination and Sylvania phosphors. To concoct a colour, a transparent 3M vinyl film was applied onto the phosphor prior to lamination. While most of the suits were made out of foam latex, others derived from spandex, which was sprayed with balloon rubber. That's ultimately what gave the illusion of a lean shape. The actors had to be compressed to compensate for the bulk of the electronics. In addition, Clark and Wilkinson designed over 140 background costumes.
Wow.
The two sought influence from various fashion and shoe designers in building the costumes. On the back of the suit was an illuminated disc, which consisted of 134 LED lights. It was attached to the suit via a magnet and was radio controlled. All the costumes had to be sewn in such a way that the stitches did not appear, as the design team figured that in a virtual environment, the clothes would just materialise with no need for buttons, zippers or enclosures. According to Neville Page, the lead designer for the helmets, the art departments communicated very well with each other to realise Joe's, the director's, vision. We would look over each other's shoulders to find inspiration from one another. The development of the costumes came from trying to develop the form language which came from within the film. The majority of the suits were designed using ZBrush. A scan of an actor's body was taken, which was then encased to decipher the fabric, the location of the foam, amongst other concerns. With a computer numerical cutting of dense foam, a small-scale output would be created to perfect fine details before initiating construction of the suit. Upon downloading the participant's body scan, the illustrations were overlaid to provide an output manufacturing element. Describing the CNC process, Chris Lavery of Clothes on Film noted that it had a tendency to elicit bubbles and striations. Clark stated the suit is all made of a hexagon mesh, which we also printed and made the fabric from 3D files. This would go onto the hard foam. It would go inside the mould, which was silicon matrix. We put those together and then inject foam into the negative space. The wiring harness is embedded into the mould and you get a torso. We then paint it and that's your finished suit.
There you go. This is a scene I think they used in Dream Drop Distance, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Explicitly. There we go. You're not the only one having flubs of the voice and the mouth in this commentary.
It's fine. At this point we've had Christmas, so we're both just like, what day of the week is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm experiencing a bit of post-Christmas lethargy, but this is doing enough to keep me engaged. I'm liking this so far.
Oh, definitely. It's really visually quite arresting.
He's very sassy for being a program.
Well, of course. It's the only way they can be sometimes, you know.
So what do you think about this disc game that they play in terms of, like, survival and whatnot, mate? It was obviously very iconic from the original film, and it's appeared in many different, like, pastiches and homages and so on over the years in cartoon and live action. I think there were a few video games as well, but as a concept, how do you feel about it?
It's pretty cool, I suppose. I think really what we're all here for is the light cycle. That's sort of the best bit. It's the thing that everyone gets a lot more excited for, rather than, oh, throw a disc. It's basically Deadly Frisbee.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think he did a very good job of escaping right there.
Ooh. Yeah, motherfucking Rinsler. One of the best boss fights in Dream Drop Distance, I have to say.
I don't know whether I'd say best, if only because it can get very repetitive. And basically the best way of fighting it is just blocking and countering. Anything else gets a little bit finicky.
Yeah, you don't get the 2. Only Rinsler gets the 2.
Also, I can't believe that neither of us thought it would be a good idea to just go, 2?
2?
I know, it's just like, what a missed opportunity.
Well, we've done it now, so... Yeah, Rinsler likes to flip everywhere. Also, I'll meet you halfway and say Rinsler's boss music is some of the best in Dream Drop Distance.
Oh yeah, that we can agree on.
Slow motion is fine in moderation. I'm not a fan of how, Zack Snyder used it.
I think, for me, it depends. Like, sometimes Zack Snyder's use of it is incredible. Other times, yeah, it's a little bit overused. But it can be a very effective method. And also this fight right here is where they got the Rinsler fight from in Dream Drop Distance, and that is very effective.
Pretty faithful adaptation now I'm actually watching this.
I know! That's exactly what I was thinking. I was going... I was not expecting such a faithful recreation of the fight. Because obviously most of the time in Kingdom Hearts, they take an idea and just sort of go completely however the hell they want with it.
Either that or they softball it, which is a criticism I do have with Kingdom Hearts. I wish they'd... And to be fair, they seem to be rectifying this with more recent Kingdom Hearts games. Like, they go a bit more musical, they go a bit more faithful. Like,
yes,
the Let It Go sequence is in Kingdom Hearts 3. And that would never be in, like, an older Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh, I know. I mean, I would say the thing that we've got at the minute is the Let It Go sequence in there as Let It Go, or is it in there as a sequence without the music? That's sort of what we don't know at the present moment in time, as far as I'm aware. I hope it is with the music in some form, because obviously, like, come on... A lot of kids are going to be buying Kingdom Hearts 3 with that in mind, but I'm fine either way, no matter what quite happens, because really, we all love a bit of Kingdom Hearts, faults and all.
Yep, faults and all, indeed. Big reveal, dramatic reveal. Who could this guy be, I say, already knowing?
I know. I mean, it'd be very, very crazy if it was, someone that we already knew but didn't.
Surprise, it's me! Why do you look the same age as when you left me? That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah, also, why does your face look so plasticky? It's like this. Have you had some Botox or something?
Digital Botox, yeah.
So, it's probably a good time to talk about just the sound and visual effects in general. So, Jeff Bridges' likeness here is of when he was 35 and was taken from the 1984 film Against All Odds, as opposed to the original Tron, which you would have thought they would have done, but clearly they got a better likeness out of Against All Odds rather than Tron. Bit weird, but hey, there you go. The crowd effects for the gaming arena, which I think is what we just saw there, were recorded at 2010 San Diego Comic-Con International. During one of the Tron Legacy panels there, the crowd was given instruction via a large video screen, while text from Skywalker Sound recorded the performance. The audience performed chants and summing effects similar to what is heard in just general modern sports arenas. So people from 2010 Comic-Con are actually in this film. That's quite impressive.
It's kind of like how I was at Summer Sonic one time, and I am actually in Sonic Generations. Like,
yes.
You can't make me out because I'm mixed with like thousands of other people, most likely. But when you hear Happy Birthday Sonic at the end, I was like part of it.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing whenever anybody does anything like that.
I'm just happy that Generations turned out to be good, you know? I want it to be like part of a bad Sonic game.
Well, I mean, you never know. They've got that audio recording. They could decide to use it again in the future, and the game there might not be quite as good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took 2 years and 10 companies to create the 1,565 visual effects shots for TRON Legacy. The majority of the effects were done by a company called Digital Domain, who created 882 shots under supervisor Eric Barber. So let's see what other films have Digital Domain worked on. Okay, they're not just going to give me a nice little list, but they did do work on Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Oh, apparently they worked on Titanic as well.
There you go.
They've worked on a Transformers film as well, so there's that. The production team blended several special effects techniques, such as chroma keying, which is basically, just cutting people out from the green screen. Similar to Tron, the approach was seen as pushing the boundaries of modern technology. I mean, this was pushing the boundaries at the time. Kaczynski says, I was going more on instinct rather than experience with the whole thing. Although he'd previously used the technology in producing adverts, this was the first time Kaczynski used it all at a large scale simultaneously. Dan Guilford was approached as the production designer, while David Levy was hired as a concept artist. Levy translated Kaczynski's ideas into drawings and other visual designs, and Joe's vision evolved the visuals of the first film. He wanted the grid to feel like reality, but with a twist. An estimated 20 to 25 artists from the art department developed concepts for the universe, which varied from the real-world locations to the fully digital sets. Guilford suggested that there were between 60 and 70 settings in the film, split up into 15 fully constructed sets with different levels of computer-created landscapes. And rather than, using makeup, such as the ones used in A Beautiful Mind, to make Jeff Bridges look younger for the character that we saw there, they wanted him to be completely computer-generated.
Okay.
So to show that this version was created sometime after the events of the original film, the visual effects artist based his appearance on how Jeff Bridges looked in Against All Odds, which was 2 years after Tron.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and the effects team hired makeup artist Rick Baker to construct a moulded likeness of a younger Bridges' head to serve as their basis for their CG work, but they did soon scrap the mould because they wished for it to be more youthful.
Yeah, that's funny, by the way, him holding that like a lightsaber, considering they'd go on to own Star Wars.
I know, it's great.
Also, it's a nod to the 80s and whatnot.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, with the whole mould thing, there wasn't time to make another one, so they just reconstructed it digitally. And oh my god, the light cycle's amazing!
They're slightly redesigned from the originals, but they're pretty faithful still.
Oh yeah, and they look incredible, and also just the motion of going into it is just really cool. So yeah, with the CGI Bridges, on set first, Jeff Bridges would perform an "Oh my god, this shot is amazing," and they replicated it pretty much perfectly with Riku in Dream Drop Distance.
Woo! Yeah, go get some.
That was incredible. So Jeff Bridges would perform, and then he was followed by his stunt double John Reardon, who would mimic his actions. Reardon's head was replaced in post-production with a digital version of the young Jeff Bridges. Barber, who was involved in a similar experience for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, stated that they used 4 microcambers with infrared sensors to capture all 134 dots on Bridges' face that would then be the basis of the facial movements, which was similar to what was used in Avatar. It took over 2 years to not only create the likeness, but also the character's movements. Jeff Bridges called the experience surreal and said it was just like the first Tron, but for real.
Aww. Does that ever happen to you, mate? You meet your dad after a long while and then he just gets into a light cycle match with you?
No, I don't think I have had that happen to me. Me and my dad have got a pretty decent relationship, so I think I'd be slightly terrified if he decided to do that to me.
Yeah, like you're battling for the last Yorkshire pudding at Christmas dinner or something.
Yeah, although annoyingly, we didn't have any Yorkshires at Christmas dinner this year. I was a little bit disappointed in that one, but the rest of it was really lovely, so I'm happy.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Christmas dinner was so amazing. I went for a nap afterwards and crashed for like 5 hours straight. That very rarely happens.
Yeah, I did have to have a little nap afterwards. And then we watched The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix, which is really delightful and has Kurt Russell in it as Santa, and he's incredible.
Son of a bitch. I thought you were going to say Jeff Bridges again. God damn it, Tom. I tell you what it is, it's the same kind of thing, where it's like, have you ever seen Bill Farmer and Charles Martinet in the same room? Of course you haven't, because they're the same person. They're not really, they just look very similar. Alright, gonna team up perhaps?
Well, I mean, yeah, if I was hearing correctly, it is the only way that they're going to win this is by teaming up.
I gotta listen to the OST standalone after this.
Oh yeah, I mean, it does sound pretty glorious.
That's a good job, Sam had experience riding motorbikes and whatnot prior to this.
I know, otherwise this would have ended up really bad for him, I feel.
Not my stick bike. Mine.
Yeah, he's not going to make it, is he?
Oh, nasty.
Yeah, I saw that coming a mile away.
So obviously it's got to be a draw or some such, because I don't think Flynn is going to be taken out this early. Is that cheating? I'm not sure if that's cheating or not.
That was definitely cheating.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
Yeah, you really are.
Shablamzo. Get in, loser, we're going surviving.
Yes, I love it!
Interesting idea to mask the person's voice, because, they're a program, it would happen anyway, but, yeah, you can probably tell what gender that person was.
Probably, yes.
You very nearly gave the game away, but you've been working on your subtlety, I'm proud.
Yeah, no, it's not necessarily that I've been working on it. It's just that I'm just like, well, the film's trying to make it a surprise, so I suppose probably should try and keep it a surprise.
Right, you're working on your apathy more, okay.
Yeah, just being purely lazy, you know?
Sometimes not giving a shit is the key to giving a shit. Also cool. Why wasn't this in Dream Drop distance?
Well, the buggy wasn't, but that move was. Riku very much did that to the side of the arena too and flew out. He just did it on the light circle because clearly he is much more competent than Sam.
I mean, that is a callback to the first movie where the same thing happens.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, really, Riku's just more competent than most people in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, apart from, when he decided to go over to the darkness like an idiot, but hey.
There she is, Korra, not Korra. I called Korra from The Legend of Korra for so long until I was like, I gotta rewrite my brain memory biology and pronounce it the right fucking way.
Yeah, but then I can see how you think that it would have been Korra because it is spelled sort of like Korra.
Yeah, it has
whereas
two R's.
Korra, whereas Korra, you sort of get it because there's the Q-U when you go, okay, Korra.
Also, core, computer, and so on.
Yeah, just to be punny, you know?
She knows what she's doing. It's fine. Look at the bionicle-looking ass vehicle they're driving it.
Oh, I know. Oh, I do love... Well, I do love, because it's a very long time since I collected Bionicles, but I did love Bionicles back in the day. I've still got all of them that I collected up in the loft. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I think I sold most of mine, honestly, like the Gen 1s and so on. But,
yeah.
I'm just moved on to video games, really. That said, I did get a couple of Amiibo for Christmas, 30-year-old ass man-child that I am. But they're just for, decoration and whatnot more than anything.
It's totally fair. Which ones did you get?
I got Rob and Ridley.
Nice.
I'm gonna get the Belmonts when they come out, and K-Rool.
Totally fair, yeah. I've got the two Bayos, and then Celica and Alm from Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia.
Nice. Was that a pre-order thing?
No, so They were just sort of, you could just buy them, and my mum decided to order them for Christmas last year because they got me that game. She'd done her research and decided to get me those. I was just like, oh,
Going that extra mile, that shows
I
she
know.
cares.
She actually did the research into the characters, and when I got them, I was just like, I was just like, I hope I like these characters because I haven't played the game yet. But then I did, so it's fine.
Mysterious old sage? Who could this possibly be?
Well, if that hair is any indication, it's probably Jeff Bridges.
Possibly. I ain't saying one way or the other. Hang on, getting up a bit old now. Yep, that's him.
Yeah, it's definitely Jeff Bridges. Also, is it really bad that whenever I see Jeff Bridges, I think of him as Jeff Bridges?
No, that's just actor relatability.
I know, but it's just like some actors kind of like really lose themselves in their characters, and so even though it's just like I know that that's that character, I don't necessarily see them as themselves. But Jeff Bridges is one of those actors where whenever I'm seeing him, I'm just like, oh, that's Jeff Bridges. It's sort of like Hugh Jackman in a way. Whenever I see Hugh Jackman, I think Hugh Jackman. Or Wolverine.
But the flip side of that is, they're good as themselves in whatever role they play.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
totally.
not like I'm just like, oh, I can just totally see Jeff Bridges and I'm completely taken out. No, he's Jeff Bridges playing Flynn, playing Jeff Bridges, and it's fine.
Yeah, in comparison to, say, Emma Watson playing Emma Watson as Belle.
Looking forward to editing that one. I haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah, it's going to be new and a bit alarming, ain't it?
And a little bit frightening. Punch him! Punch him!
Now he's going to hug him, although I have to say I am more than a little intrigued as to Cora's haircut. I'm not sure it's quite the most stylish thing ever.
I think it's cool. It's not quite a bob.
Yeah, it's just sort of, it's at weird angles, and I'm not sure I'm for it.
This is really interesting. I've never seen a user have a mental breakdown up close. Basically the 80s. Or maybe roughly like the 90s, the early 90s.
God only knows at this point.
So yeah, we need the Tron lore.
Well, no, Tom, I think what you mean is we need the Tron legacy.
Hey, nice. Had to let it sink in for a second there, but I appreciate it. See, Sam's the key to all this, because we've never had a son like this before. He'll save the system.
Well, he's the protagonist, so...
So I just like saying X is the key to all this, because we've never had a Y as Z as him before. It's just funny, I don't know.
It's totally fair.
Look at all these really fat CDs. I don't know why Flynn keeps them around.
Those are books.
I fucking know what they are!
I should hope so.
Yeah, I know. It's surprising, isn't it? Oh, I see. She's a bookie. That's cute.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I mean, books are wonderful, and I'm very much looking forward to self-publishing my first book on Amazon in 2019.
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
Yeah, you do realise I'm totally going to be shilling that every time I get the chance.
That's fine, mate. That's fine. So is that a real chair? Did he program and make it? Seems like it would be possible within the grid.
Probably. I mean, all of this is Kota. Clearly he did program build the chair.
She's not as dignified as I was led to believe. She's kind of a little bit of a dorky streak, which I find endearing.
Yeah, she's definitely got a lot more of a character here than she does in Dream Drop Distance. Like, Dream Drop Distance, it's very much just, well, in one iteration, she's basically just out cold for the majority of it. The rest of the time, it's sort of bland hero-ness.
A whole pig? Really? Flynn, is this your idea of a joke? How are we supposed to finish this?
Well, I mean, it's only a small pig, so I mean, I suppose maybe you can make it through if that's all you're eating. That doesn't really look like they've cut much off of it, to be fair.
Ah, blue. My favourite drink.
Yeah, with what seems to be an LED light, sort of either in the stem of the glass or at the bottom of the glass to make
Of
it
course.
sparkle.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. I'm just saying it's a bit of an odd choice.
Well, this has been fun, but I have to go and miss you somewhat. Is he wearing eyeliner?
I mean, potentially. I mean, Cora definitely is.
Well, she rocks it. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it makes his eyes pop, which I guess was the intention, but still.
I mean, honestly, sometimes it's really difficult to tell, because what they will have done here is they will have gone for the no makeup look. Is what they tend to do with most guys in film these days. Is obviously apply makeup to make it look like they're not wearing any makeup. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, and sometimes, people's faces are just weird. So, like, my eyelids are constantly sort of somewhat dark / dark-ish, so they sort of can look a bit purpley, and it looks like I've got eyeshadow. I'm just like, no, that's definitely not what's happening there. That's just my eyes. It's just sort of the darkness because I'm tired all the time.
Alright, explain to me a bit of the plot that's going on here, mate. What's Flynn going on about?
Let me get up to the plot, why is this page so bloody long?
I don't know. They must be embellishing it a little bit.
Well, no, it's because there's the plot, there's the cast, and then there's all sorts of other stuff which we can go into going forward. So, he's basically revealing to Sam that he'd been working to create a perfect computer system, and had appointed Clue and Tron, which is obviously a security program created by Bradley, as its sort of co-creator. So we can see Clue there, looking Clue-y.
Clue-esque,
basically,
if you will.
Yeah, during the construction period, they discovered a species naturally occurring isomorphic algorithms, or ISOs as they've called them, that hadn't been conceived by Flynn, bearing the potential to resolve various mysteries in science, religion, and medicine. Clue, considering them an aberration, was just like, oh no, Flynn, this ain't gonna fly, betrayed him, and decided to, murder Tron, destroy the ISOs, and just be a general asshole. And then the portal that permitted travel between the two worlds closed, so Flynn got trapped.
There you go.
We're basically getting all of this now. I've probably gone a little bit further ahead of where we are. But
you did, yes.
But to be fair, it's kind of obvious exactly what was going to happen with this.
So you don't actually get this in the adaptation in Dream Drop Distance. You get inklings of it. You get a little bit of context here and there, but otherwise,
Yeah, basically.
Oh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Oh no, Clue's pulling a coup! Say that 3 times fast.
Yep.
No, I mean literally, say it 3 times fast.
Clue's pulling a... God damn it.
The first try, Richie!
The first try. As I said, kind of failing a little bit after Christmas, so complicated words, not going to happen.
This is cool. I didn't actually know you got to see Tron before he
died.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
I know, I didn't realise either. I mean, it doesn't quite look Tron-y to me right now, but clearly it is Tron. And yeah, that's the end of Tron, good God.
I'm a coward. Answer me this, Richie. Was it Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes, it was. No, yeah, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure it was Kurt Russell, but bear with me a minute, because I just need to double check, because I don't want to sound like a crazy person.
Because if it was, I have an excellent analogy for you.
Yes, Kurt Russell is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as Ego.
Alright, here you go. Kurt Russell and Jeff Bridges are the heartless and nobody of the original person who they make up. And, like, Kurt Russell is the more wild one. And Jeff Bridges is, like, the more toned down sort of one, like you get in a nobody. It works, doesn't it? It's great.
It does. That's incredible. Oh gosh, if you've started me off on a giggle fit, this isn't good. I need to get through the rest of the film.
It's okay, mate. Don't worry about it. What do you think about Flynn's attire here?
I mean, I am liking it. I think it looks a little bit more impressive in Dream Drop Distance, actually. I don't know what they changed about it, but it just felt a bit more flowy, I suppose. Here it looks like it can maybe do with a little bit of an iron.
Yeah, sorry, Sam. I wasn't actually expecting you. Cora, do you wanna do some ironing? First of all, fuck you. Not programmed for that. Second of all, that's cyber sexism.
Thank you for just rescuing that at the end. I was just like, oh, Tom, no, don't go there.
Well, I mean, just asking a woman to iron something isn't sexist in and of itself. Asking her because she's a woman is what makes it sexist.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I mean, considering the amount of time Flynn's got here to, do anything, it's just like, mate, you could have at least, made it look a little bit crisper.
Mm-hmm. This is cyber water, not actual water. Or it could be data. I swear I've watched something where water was data. I forget what it was.
Oh, God only knows at this moment in time.
Ah, I see. So Clue has been luring, or been trying to lure Sam in, I suppose.
Yeah.
Nice. Isn't that a reference to War Games? The only winning move is not to play?
Pretty well. I don't know if it's War Games specifically, but pretty much, yeah. That is a pretty long-standing philosophical theory, I believe.
Yeah, it's iconic, is what it is. This was a scene that was directly in Dream Drop Distance.
Yes, it was.
So do you actually need to sleep in here? How does it work, specifically?
Oh, God only knows. I don't think they necessarily thought that bit through.
No, just got to rest on my cyber bed. Cora doesn't need to sleep, so she's just going to stand in a corner.
Yeah, she's just sort of going to be there and it'll be fine.
She's the last of the ISOs, right?
Yes, she is.
Okay. That's very convenient, I gotta say.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is definitely, a very convenient way of... I was about to go off on a different point, and then I'm just like, no, I actually can't go off on a different point, and that is just convenient.
I gotta say, the original movie had a lot more cuts back to, the real world and one. I'm kind of glad we're staying in the digital one this time.
Yeah, I think it's making it so that it has a much more consistent flow through, I suppose, because this is Sam's story and we're sticking with Sam, so everything's sort of from his viewpoint. And yeah, that is definitely it's a lot more effective. It's a lot also easier to follow, I suppose.
I wonder if that was like modelled on the actual front door or Sam's bedroom door.
I mean, potentially, yeah.
I can watch you from here.
Yeah, that seems like poorly thought through window locations.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what that was all about, honestly.
Ditto. I was kind of just like, is that something that's trying to like pretend that she's like going to flip sides or something? No, it's clearly it's just something special that she's going to give to Sam to help save the day, ish, maybe.
Sorry, what? I can't exactly hear you. Nice. Thank you. Now, do you mind? I actually do need to sleep now, so.
Yeah, it's just like a bit tired, just sort of all these blue lights. Like, I'm quite glad that I don't have epilepsy, otherwise I think I'd be absolutely screwed.
The terrible future where Apple reigns supreme.
Oh my god, what the hell is this?
Memories of a better time. Yeah, that's right. You got sucked into a computer. You didn't get to experience his teenage years and so on, which is, actually, it's probably for the best.
Well, I wouldn't say so, because that's why Sam's ended up being an apathetic dick.
My daddy got pulled into the digital world. He probably has his own Digimon and everything. I want my own Digimon.
Oh, I always wanted a Digimon when I was younger.
Which one would you want?
Pass 'em on.
Fair dues. That's you. To a T, really.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone off on a joyride because of course.
Of course, I mean, what else are you expecting to happen?
This is the classic light cycle.
Oh, yeah.
No. Sorry, I just gotta amuse myself. Oh, yep, that's an infraction. We gotta follow him.
Yeah. It wants to do a wheel rush off those lampposts.
I was just gonna say the same thing. God damn. I wonder how flow motion is being limited in Free. I haven't actually been paying attention to that.
I don't quite know, really. It doesn't seem quite... Well, flow motion doesn't seem to be exactly in there as flow motion. It's more just sort of... You have just a few more motion abilities to use to get through things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can run up walls. That's basically it.
So did he give the guy the motorbike in exchange for the sick-ass, like, Palpatine hood?
Seems like it.
So we've got to look for Zeus now, if I'm correct.
Oh, so we're finally going to meet Michael Sheen then. Good.
Ah, okay.
At least I'm assuming it's Michael Sheen, because we haven't had any Michael Sheen yet, and,
We are, in fact, Michael Sheen less right now.
yeah, I need some Michael Sheen in my movie, thank you. Especially considering everyone was saying how amazing he was in it, so...
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But whilst we're on our way to Michael Sheen, it's probably worth pointing out a little bit more to do with the conceptual stuff behind Tron Legacy, because I finally found the bit that says conception on this Wikipedia page. So, basically, in 2005, when plans began to materialise, Walt Disney hired screenwriters Brian Klugman and Lee Sternthal as the writers. They felt that the world had caught up to Lisberger's original concept for Tron, and said of the precedent film, it was remembered not only for story, but a visual style that nobody had ever used before, and they wanted to contemporise it, taking ideas that were ahead of the curve and applying them to the present, and they felt that the film had a chance to resonate to a younger audience.
Okay.
In 2007, they began to negotiate with John Krasinski to direct the film, and at the time he admitted that he wasn't keen on the idea, but it did grow on him as time progressed. He met with Bailey, the president of Walt Disney Pictures. Disney owns the property Tron, Bailey stated. Do you know it? Are you interested? what would your take be in a post-Matrix world? How do you go back to the world of Tron? And Kaczynski wanted to embrace the general ambience of the film and wished to not use the internet as a model or use a formula emulative of the Matrix. As neither of them were in equal agreement on choosing a perspective to conceive the film, Kaczynski asked Bailey to lend him money in order to create a conceptual prototype of the Tron Legacy universe. Yep, there's our good old bit of Daft Punk. And that conceptual prototype was presented at the 2009 San Diego Comic-Con. So they went into Disney and told them, we can talk about this all day, but in order to really get on the same page, I need to show you what this world looks and feels like. Give you some money, let me do a small test, and that will give you a hint for a couple of minutes of it and see what you think. And ultimately that then obviously led to everything happening. And oh, there's our Michael Sheen.
I was thinking of someone completely different. I was thinking of the dude who plays Zod in Man of Steel. That's Michael Shannon.
Yes.
But yeah, Martin Sheen is the tits. He played Tony Blair in, I think it was just The Queen.
Also, Michael Sheen, not Martin Sheen.
Fuck. I'm sorry. It's Kurt Russell and Jeff Bridges all over again. Alright, bring up some of his roles, mate, because he is a fantastic actor.
Oh, he really is, and he's been in a lot of film and theatre and all sorts. So much so that he's got an entire page dedicated to Michael Sheen performances. So, in terms of film, yes, he was Tony Blair in The Queen. He was David Frost in Frost/Nixon. He was Nivens McTwisp, the White Rabbit, in Alice in Wonderland. The Tim Burton remake. He was Aro in the Twilight Saga. Not necessarily the best thing in the world, but there we go. What other films has he been in? He was Lucian in Underworld, Rise of the Lycans. He's also been in lots of TV. He's going to be Aziraphale in Good Omens, which looks incredible. All sorts of other things. He's also just done a lot of theatre. And yeah, he's just amazing.
So who is the Zeus character, exactly? Spell that out for me.
Let me just get to that moment. I just need to get to everything. So Zeus / Castor, as the character is called, is a flamboyant supermodel program. He runs the end-of-the-line club at the top of the tallest tower in the system. That's basically his character. Michael Sheen describes his performances containing elements of performers such as David Bowie, Joel Grey from Cabaret, and a little bit of Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Show.
Definitely.
Yes, and I am loving it.
So I guess Flynn just knew that Chloe would come for him, or find him eventually.
Yeah, so clearly he'd have to leg it so that he wouldn't be completely murdered.
Hope he didn't leave any, compromising artifacts that Chloe can use behind. So, why are you even here? Why did I bring you?
Yeah, and also that was just a really awkward moment for this.
What was the point of that show?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it was to show, haha, look, the computer doesn't know what a book is.
Yeah, it's an odd character. I won't harp on it, it just feels a bit out of place. Open unto me, computer world! Oh, that's cool. You're a handsome bastard, you know that? Imagine making, a guy who will basically become God in your own image. Oh, and the apple, of course.
Yeah, of course, it's the only way to do these sorts of things. And Bravo, we had the "I'm so angry, I'm going to wreck everything" cliche. Beautiful.
Yay! It's okay, even perfect individuals get angry sometimes.
Well, of course, it's mostly when they realise that they're not quite as perfect as they thought they were.
Totally seeing the Bowie vibes there.
Oh yeah, I mean, even the hair's doing it.
Oh, you're gonna have to play through so many games of Frogger in order to reach it. You ever actually played a game of Frogger?
I did many years ago, and I was terrible at it, so...
I think I'd rather just play Katamari, honestly. I got Katamari re-roll for Christmas. Pretty fun game.
Yeah, I've always sort of wanted to play it, but never really got around to it, and probably never will, but hey, these things happen.
Honestly, pick it up for your Switch, it works great in handheld mode.
I know, but I've already got quite a big backlog of games, and I've got 2 coming in January, one of which is both of which are RPGs, and one of which I've been waiting for like a decade, so...
Ah, I see. Well, here comes the fuzz.
Oh look, it's those enemies from Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. I was wondering when these guys were going to show up.
These guys are fuckanauts, is what they are.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't necessarily say they're not naughts, because they've not been naughted, but they're still assholes.
Like Daft Punk's like, we out this bitch. Oh, okay, no, just change the music. That's kind of funny, actually.
Give us a little bit of a battle theme here.
Oh, this is the theme they use in trailers a lot of the time.
Yes, so I believe this is probably Derezzed, which is basically the key song of the film.
He's loving this shit. Why wouldn't he? Look at this. It's great. That's the Frankenfurter aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
I want someone to score me whenever I have a fight. Just like live scoring, very underrated, honestly.
Yeah, I feel it does need to happen more often, and oh my god, that's amazing. Michael Sheen was clearly having a wonderful time on set that day.
Why not? You're in a sequel to not the most popular film ever, but you know, a cult classic, as it were. So you may as well just have fun with it. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's not good to be happening. Yeah, don't really want to lose an arm, thank you.
Zawaldo? Oh. Oh, that's so fucking cool.
I'm just waiting for the beat to drop.
I'm out of this bitch, bye. She didn't lose her arm in the game, did she?
No, but she did get knocked out.
Yes.
In Riku's version, I want to say?
Oh shit, no, not my disc! See, the disc is what they needed, because that has information on it.
Yeah, and oh lovely, everyone's dead.
Well, they're programs, they can be rebuilt. Oh.
Oh.
What is his end game exactly?
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. I wish I did.
This is a really good sequence, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like it maybe could have had a little bit more heft to it. Like the entire fight scene, while quite cool to look at, didn't quite have any
Oomph, yeah.
oomph to it. It was lacking sort of impact in sort of like the blows, and what Sam and Cora were doing wasn't particularly overly exciting. But not many people can get a really damn good fight scene together these days, it seems. Most people just edit it to shit.
It's a lost art, I guess.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Jeff Bridges. The dude abides. Maybe get on a solar sailor, go to the portal.
Yeah. Because, I mean, well, the logic here is that Clue's going to go to the portal because he wants to get out into the outside world or something and, destroy everything. So why don't you, go to the portal to beat Clue there, because Clue's going to go there anyway, and then you can stop Clue at the portal and then you're free. Ta-da! Solved it.
If you think about it, this is just one big chase movie. Because after a certain point, it's just like, you're beelining to the finale, really.
I mean, basically, but I would say that Mad Max Fury Road is a much more effective chase movie because in that you basically start the chase about 10 minutes into the film and then it doesn't stop until the end.
That does sound pretty rad.
Oh yeah, I mean, Mad Max Fury Road is an incredible action film. Really well shot, really well performed. It's definitely one of the best films that came out that year.
I swear to God, if any of those big purple fuckers from KH2 appear and a weight gauge pops up, I am not going to be happy. That was nuts on Critical. Thankfully, I did it on my second try after dying once. Just use Tron's limit and it absolutely wrecks those guys, but holy shit, Critical mode ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah, and this is why I'm never going to play Kingdom Hearts ever on critical mode, because I'm not quite that much of a sadistic person to myself.
It wasn't that bad, honestly. There were a few choke points, but if you can beat Proud, you can pretty much handle critical.
I mean, I know I could, but I'd Proud's my limit, I feel. Like, that's challenging enough that I'm going to have fun, but not so challenging that I'm just going to be just like, I just keep dying. Why did I do this to myself? No, I hate my life. But, yeah, so I suppose whilst we're going on the Solar Sailor, do you want to have a little listen to all of the reception to Tron Legacy? I think we're long enough in here to kind of get a much more all-seeing view of what the critics thought.
Sure, man, go for it.
So when it came out, it received pretty mixed reviews from critics. They loved the visual effects, the production design and the soundtrack, but were pretty critical of the character development, cast performance and the story as well. Rotten Tomatoes, it sits at about a 51% for positive. So that's a mean score of about 5.9 out of 10. The consensus being Tron Legacy boasts dazzling visuals, but its human characters and story get lost amidst its state-of-the-art production design. On Metacritic, Tron Legacy is a bit lower at 49 out of 100.
Ew.
Yeah, so visual effects are sort of the main highlight. Roger Ebert of Chicago Sun-Times felt that the environment was aesthetically pleasing and added that its score displayed an electronic force that complemented the visuals. Rolling Stone columnist Peter Travis echoed the sentiment, concluding that the effects were of an award caliber. Not that I don't think they actually did win any / if many awards for the visuals, which they probably should have done actually. Jay Hoperman of The Village Voice noted that while it was extensively enhanced, Tron Legacy retained the streamlined visuals that were seen in its predecessor, while Variety's Peter DeBarge affirmed that the visuals and the accompanied cutting-edge score made for a stunning virtual ride. To Nick DeSemlian of Empire, this is a movie of astonishing high-end gloss, fused to a pounding Daft Punk soundtrack populated with sleek sirens and chiseled hunks, boasting electroluminescent landscapes to make Blu-ray players weep. As I said before, some critics weren't as fond of the special effects, with Manohla Dargis stating that, despite its occasional notability, the film's vibrating kaleidoscopic colours that gave the first movie its visual punch had been replaced by a monotonous palette of glassy black and blue and some bursts of orange and yellow, but did declare that Tron Legacy was eye-popping, and a columnist for the Wall Street Journal, Joe Morgenstern, denounced the producer's emphasis on technological advancements, which he felt could have been used for other means such as drama. To New York Post's Kyle Smith, there were many moments where he shared his customary phlegmatic equilibrium and thought, hey, this is really exciting.
The fuck does that mean?
I honestly don't know. Performances of various cast members were frequently mentioned in critiques, but Michael Sheen's portrayal of Castor/Zeus was particularly acclaimed by commentators who, because of his flamboyance, drew parallels to David Bowie, as well as fictional characters like the lead character Alex in A Clockwork Orange. Dargis ascribed Sheen's exceptional performance to a seemingly uninteresting cast. To Philadelphia Daily News film critic Gary Thompson, the film became humorous with scenes involving Castor. Star Tribune critic Colin Cover believed that Sheen's campy antics were the two brief highlights of Tron Legacy. The rest of the cast, there was sort of diverse attitudes towards the performance. The film received a little boost from Wilde, according to one. Someone else called Headland a dud stud. None of what he sees impresses. The feeling is mutual. At an alleged cost of $200 million, that's some yawn. If he can't be thrilled, why should we? And even Jeff Bridges came in for some criticism. Because obviously he's regarded as one of America's most beloved and distinctive actors, and he was seen as weird and complicated rather than being the sentimental and alluring portrayer in the original Tron.
Aww.
They also were divided on character development and storylines. The New Yorker commented that the audience didn't connect with the characters as they were lacking emotion and substance. Disney may be looking for a merchandising bonanza with this long gestating sequel to the groundbreaking 1982 film, but someone in the corporate offices forgot to add any human interest to its heavy action script. Likewise, USA Today found it to resonate with nonsensical and unimaginative, even obfuscating dialogue, and that most of the story just doesn't scan. As someone else summed up, Tron Legacy is the kind of sensory onslaught blockbuster that tends to put me to sleep the way babies will nap to block out overwhelming stimuli. I confess I may have snoozed through one or two climactic battles only to be startled awake by an incoming neon frisbee. Although, that said, he did proclaim the plot of Tron Legacy and its predecessor to be spotty. Ian Buckwater of NPR was lenient of one of the films, I don't know, due to its youth-friendly nature. But someone else did adore the plot, and that being Michelle Alexander of Eclipse. That was paralleled by a few other people, like Rossiter Drake from 7x7, who wrote that it was buoyed by its sometimes convoluted yet hard-to-resist story. And then, last but not least, Metro's Larushka Ivanzadeh complained about the underdeveloped plot, saying, in 2010, issues surrounding the immersive nature of gaming and all-consuming power of modern technology are more pertinent than ever before, so it's frustrating that the script does nothing with them. That said, she did concede that it's the best 3D flick since Avatar, and a super groovy soundtrack by Daft Punk nonetheless makes for an awesome watch. So, yeah, it was a pretty mixed bag.
I'm going to be honest, I think I would have preferred the movie to be about just Flynn creating the grid and whatnot, and by the end he, stops Clue and so on.
Yeah, I think there is a lot that they could have done here that they didn't, and it just doesn't end up working out quite as well as perhaps it should do, and oh dear, they've just killed off Michael Sheen.
Well, There goes my interest, kablooey.
I know. But hey, at least Cora's alright.
Yay! A likeable character, huzzah!
So yeah, something else that's also quite interesting to note is that there was going to be a sequel to Tron Legacy. Before the film was even released, somebody did say that a sequel was in planning, and that the screenwriters were going to come back. They were in the early stages of producing a script. There was speculation that it could be the first instalment in a new trilogy. I think Disney had sort of big plans for where they were going to go with the Tron franchise. They're working on it, but basically it sort of stalled. It just ended up being the script stage for a very long time. They did say in March 2015 that Disney had greenlit it, with Hedlund reprising his role as Sam, Kaczynski returning to direct, Wilde was going to return as Cora. They were going to start filming in Vancouver in October 2015, but kind of a couple of months later, they decided that they weren't going to continue with that project. So basically, yeah, it got canned. But that said, there's still been talks of there being a sequel. And the latest news on that front is that in 2017, during a Q&A session, Joseph Kosinski, who directed the film, revealed that Tron 3 has not been scrapped, but it was in cryogenic freeze.
Okay.
A few days later after that, there was talks of Disney looking into rebooting the franchise with Jared Leto attached to portray a new character named Ares, who originated from sort of the original Tron 3 script, but that is basically the last we've heard of a Tron 3. There's a chance that it might happen in the future. I mean, obviously, it could be in 25 years' time, just so that they're keeping with a sequel every 30 years.
Just call it Tron Legacy.
Exactly. Or, you could call it Tron Ultimate Legacy.
Sure, why not? I have to say, I do agree with the criticisms that the cast isn't really all that interesting. I'll give them this. They do have a teeny bit of spark to them, but much like with the modern Star Wars films, I don't really connect with many of the characters, and the old ones, or the ones I do like, end up getting killed off, so...
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I developed more of an attachment to the Star Wars new cast than I have these guys, but that will in part be because, I'm blathering over it, not actually listening to them talk properly, so I'm just sort of having a visual feast whilst I blather over about facts about the film as I'm watching it, and so not actually getting much back. But
well, you just heard accounts of people who didn't blather over it talk about them.
Yeah, so, I mean, pretty much... You can probably also tell sometimes whether you're that interested in a film or not as to how easy it is to talk over it when it's your first time watching it through. And, since I'm having a pretty decent time just sort of talking...
Yeah, it's fine.
It basically just well, clearly I'm not that invested in the film because my attention's quite easily distracted into other areas.
Well, looks like they're not going to get to the portal as easily as they thought. Are these the ISOs?
Potentially.
I don't recall these chambers of people in the adaptation. They had the boxes and whatnot that you could flow motion up and down, but I don't think you ever saw what was inside.
No, you did. Well, you did in the sense of you could go inside them, but they certainly were not like this. Even when you got to the rectifier. I mean, I suppose when you get to the rectifier, which is where we are now, yeah, you couldn't see inside them. I suppose maybe that would be a bit too dark for Kingdom Hearts? I don't know, but also this shot is almost directly replicated. Wow, they did a good job here.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty good. That was spot on.
Oh my god.
Haha, an easy catch. Stop flipping everywhere, you don't need to show off.
Yes, he does. He needs to do a Yoda.
It's okay, I meant to fail. Like how, like, Rinsler has a little bit of a guttural, almost animalistic sound to him.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. It's going to sound daft, but it dehumanizes him, if you
Yeah.
know. Obviously, he's not a human to begin with, but obviously the original Tron, much more human than anything you would get otherwise. So, removing that element, making it much more animalistic, guttural, just makes sense. Also makes him more terrifying as an enemy.
Very much so. He's a fun villain. Like, he doesn't have much personality to speak of, apart from what we can infer. But I like him. I like Clue. He's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I like the idea of Clue more than the execution. I think that's probably a lot of my feelings towards Tron Legacy, apart from visual design and probably soundtrack. I like the ideas here. I just think that they perhaps could have been executed a little bit more effectively. But all that said, I'm endlessly impressed, actually, with how the Kingdom Hearts team did with transporting this into the Kingdom Hearts world.
Yeah, very much so.
Obviously, I've seen it in all the other worlds that they've done, them doing a really good job of replicating different sequences in different areas. I have the feeling that this is the first time I have ever played Kingdom Hearts and then watched a film from a world that's been in Kingdom Hearts and gone, oh my god, they replicated that scene. Oh my god, that's that area. Oh my god, they did such a good job. Like, I don't think I've had that yet. I suspect I'll probably have that a little bit when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, because it seems like they're doing a lot more in trying to directly replicate certain scenes and how they look and feel, and it looks amazing.
To the point where it's kind of funny, because like there was this one shot in Tangled, I believe, Kingdom of Corona, or whatever the name of the world is, where it's the bit in Tangled where Rapunzel's rolling down the grassy hill or whatever.
Oh, yes.
And it's the same scene, but it's just like Goofy standing in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the, I'm never going back. I'm an awful daughter. I'm going back. I'm never going back. This is the best day ever. Oh my god, I'm terrible. It's that scene.
Well, that's not the First Order.
Yeah, these are totally not digital Nazis.
Kind of wish they put this in the game.
Well, they did sort of, I think, put the area in. I think this is, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's sort of the bridge area.
Yikes. That was, oof.
Yeah, that was a wee bit rough. But also, you know the reason they didn't put this scene in. It's because Kingdom Hearts before Kingdom Hearts 3 couldn't afford to have more than, 6 characters in a world.
You're not wrong.
This would have just blown everything up to Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm. Hey, nice. Okay, so we have stakes now, revealed in the last 20 minutes. Oh my god, stop opening your mouth that wide.
Yeah, I think they were doing sort of okay with CGI bridges, and those two shots alone were very much just like you look at it and just go, oh no, that's Uncanny Valley, put it away, kill it with fire.
Let's say, except for the part where I betrayed the person who created me, but please ignore that.
Yeah. Also, is it just me or does that look like a sword?
I think it's meant to be, honestly.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
I would love if it was just a giant keyblade.
That was a missed trick in Kingdom Hearts. They really should have just made it into a giant keyblade. Really, when I looked at it, I was just thinking, that's what looks a bit like the Monado, actually.
No, a little bit. Monado is a very neon-centric sword, so...
Well, exactly. Also, I saw sort of two laser crosses and I was just like, oh, this is clearly setting us up for the fact that Sora is going to be in Smash.
Ugh.
I'd
love that. I'd love that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not with old Cloud, 2 songs McGee. The absolute state of Square Enix, I swear to God. You know that was them and not Sakurai. Because, I mean, just look at Castlevania.
Of course. I mean, yeah, you just look at any other company and that are involved in some way, and it's just like, well, come off it.
Like, Sonic got a few more tracks, but no new remixes whatsoever, so Square Enix and Sega were the holdouts.
Yeah, but then you have got to think that they have now got Joker from Persona in there, and that is, even though it's Atlas is sort of dealt with by Sega, so...
Yeah. I'm gonna need rivers and dry land. I was up here the whole time.
Well, at least he blended into that.
That's just like you do a stealth kill in a video game because you're too low level to deal with them normally. Oh, I see. Protective chamber. Got it. I'm a user. There you go. That should have had more impact, but eh. God, I hope this character dies horribly. I don't think he's interesting or funny, honestly.
No, yeah, he does need a good old death, because nothing's really going on there.
Okay. What was with all the touching and the typing, then?
I have absolutely no idea.
I guess it just took a minute to reboot. Oh, I see. It's the hitting the computer because it doesn't work joke.
That wasn't that funny.
Oof. Nice. That was a very video game zoom in. He does that every time, and every time I mark out. Nope. There's some good-ass teamwork right here.
It is indeed. It's a good job that, that one's kind of slipped past Cora rather than, putting her right through the middle.
Yeah, like, try fixing that one. I love 80s Jeff Bridges.
Maybe don't say that until you're actually on the ship.
I was gonna say, why isn't Clue coming down on them with his massive army?
Yeah, and also, why did it take Rinsler so long to pull himself back up there? Yeah, maybe just, go. You've got things chasing after you, like... all the time you're spending talking now, you probably could have gotten there and been gone.
It's fine, Richie. Don't worry about it. I always like the design of this thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool plane.
Yeah, just before we get to the finale, wasn't there a thing called Tron Uprising?
Yes?
Where did that take place in the timeline exactly?
So, if we can get to the thing. Tron Uprising was a spin-off animated series that was released in 2012 on Disney XD. And basically it happens... Oh, yes.
Sorry, I enjoyed that a bit too much.
Just a wee bit. So, it tells the story of what happened in the grid between the films.
Okay, cool. Good.
So between Tron and Tron Legacy. What's really cool, actually, is that they got Bruce Boxleitner back as Tron, and also got Olivia Wilde to reprise her role as Cora. But they also managed to get in there Elijah Wood, Mandy Moore, and Paul Rubens, among a few other people.
Neat. And they also managed to end it on like a cliffhanger and whatnot, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because probably ties into that whole thing of everyone had a sort of grand designs for Tron, and yeah, it just didn't happen.
Certainly looks cool, I'm gonna give it that.
Yeah, it looks cool, but I feel like he should be using the Force at the minute just to aim a bit better.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, although I don't know why you wouldn't just lift up a little bit and dive over. That didn't seem that complicated to avoid.
This is a lot more exciting than how it happened in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, you just sort of made it to the portal and that was about it.
Yeah, they literally just hopped on the thing and got there.
But then, to be fair, if they were going to try and pull this off, that would basically be like a gummy ship section, and they didn't have any gummies in Dream Drop Distance.
No, and to be fair, I think if this was like in Kingdom Hearts 3, we'd see it as is.
Yeah, I think probably would do, but obviously it's not. So to be honest, that's fine. I mean, we've already had it. We don't need it again.
No. How do you like the grid compared to Space Paranoids, just while we're on the subject?
I don't think I'm the biggest fan of either of them, to be fair. Like, I prefer the design of the grid, but I just remember sort of, because it's very samey in terms of its look, it just feels a little bit bland at times.
That's interesting, because Space Paranoids, I was thinking about it during the Guide Key. I was like, what is my favourite world in KH2, actually? And I came to the conclusion that it is Space Paranoids, because it's got a great story, it's got some fun boss fights, it's great, like, visually, musically, and, I don't know, it just ties into the overall story a lot more than the other Disney worlds do, so...
Yeah, I suppose, but... Yeah, I don't feel it as much as I probably should do. Although if you asked me to say sort of what my favourite Kingdom Hearts world was, I'd probably struggle slightly. I mean, I might just end up saying Radiant Garden and be done with it.
Yeah. There you go. Said outright.
Well, what we need right now is we need Sora to come and save the day to, bring Tron back to his actual self.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to be fair, different Tron, because this isn't... the Space Paranoids was a replica Tron.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So this Tron wouldn't actually remember him.
I love that bit after the Rinsler fight, where you get a little flash of the Space Paranoids, like, version of Sora, and it's like, oh, Tron's still in there.
I know, it's a heartbreaking sequence.
So if the movie was, like, to save Tron, instead of Tron just being... Yes! Okay, that was lit. That was lit.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even realise he talked. He didn't say a fucking word in Dream Drop Distance.
I think that was because they missed out on that bit. So also they probably couldn't, get Brock's. Oh my god!
Come on, Richie.
We're near the end of the film. My brain's dying.
Well, I mean, you've been gorging on nothing but, like, beautiful visuals and whatnot.
I know. They couldn't get Tron's voice actor back for it, probably. I mean, even though it would have only been a small bit. Also, it might not have been worth the time. I mean, would you seriously get anyone to come back for a line?
Are we actually going to see, like, Tron die for realsies?
I feel like we might do.
Well, that was depressing. Oh. Yay! At least he died as himself.
At least, yes. Once again, don't celebrate before you're actually there.
It's a lot of preemptive celebrations that are going to go awry very soon. This would be a lot more impactful if I didn't know how the movie ends.
Yeah, but we do, unfortunately. God damn you, Kingdom Hearts! Spoilers, my god!
Oh, like, the games we willingly chose to play and enjoy. Damn you!
I know, it's just so unfair of them to just spoil games that came out like 3 or 4 years before they did.
I'd wear Flynn's robe, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I was just sitting here recording commentaries, I'd wear it.
I mean, I do quite like this robe. This is quite a cool robe, and oh look, there he is.
It's okay, Sam. I'm gonna have a cool neon fist fight with him. It will make for a great finale. This would mean so much more if I actually gave a shit about Clue as the villain, honestly.
Yeah, like, he's not really had much of a character outside of being, ooh, how many evil computer program based on Kevin Flynn.
Yeah, essentially. Like, again, I think if the movie was centered around, like, Flynn setting up the grid and ending with him, I don't know, doing what he's about to do, that would be fantastic, I think.
Also, I have to say, I feel like, even though the whole young Jeff Bridges thing is a cool idea, I think it would have just made more sense to just have Jeff Bridges play both parts, like old Kevin Flynn and old Kevin Flynn. I think that would have removed the uncanny valley element here, and I think would have made it much easier to deal with.
There you go, Sam, let it out. It's okay, he knows judo. Whee! No, appealing to logic. Just like a computer program.
Yep.
Swap the discs.
Well, look, I mean, honestly, why Clue didn't think that this was a possibility is beyond me.
That's disgusting and biological. And I will kill them for it! Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Think it's time to pull out some bullshit like cyber powers.
Yeah, a little bit of a Flynn ex machina.
Nice.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, just go. Hey, at least Clue has the excuse of not being able to pull himself up. Iconic, I guess. I always like that shot, even in the adaptation.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure of the logistics of what happened there, but it looked cool. Look, for a split second there, like the Dark Realm from KH2.
It did!
Well, that's enough of that video game bullshit. I'm getting into sports.
Yeah, really, he should have gotten a Switch. Would have been much more fun.
So if you want to get really pedantic, the entire movie essentially takes place 75% in the same room. I'm sorry, but your digital self is dead. Oh, you mean Tron? Oh, he's been dead for a while. Okay, cool. I'll accept that. Yeah, right about everything. That was a nice ring to it.
Yeah, success.
Fly-ins. Yeah, I'm real now. How the fuck does that work?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I guess it just reversed what pulled him into the grid in the first place.
Eh.
It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't.
No, it's our way of having a happy ending and kind of making them have a romantic relationship, even though it was sort of there but sort of wasn't.
No, not particularly.
I can live with that.
In the end, they just kept driving. They never really had a destination. And, eventually Sam passed out from lack of food, and Cora was just standing there awkwardly for a few decades.
And then Disney decided to reboot the franchise in about 30 years' time.
Oh god, I wonder if I'll still be alive to see Tron Legacy Ultimate Edition.
I mean, if it happens, and it's within our lifetime, then yes, you will do. But it depends whether it's 30 years' time, or if they leave it about 60. Because if it's 60, then we'll both be pushing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I guess that's just how it ends. Well, that was a mixed bag, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I agree with the reviews. Stunning visually, music, fantastic. The story was a bit crap, honestly.
Yeah, it was very nothingy, and so were the characters, to be fair. I mean, I totally get why they were liking Michael Sheen, but he was hardly in it and didn't really make much point, so...
Like, I try to judge things on its own merits instead of what it could or should have been, you know?
Yeah.
But what's there is very kind of, like, bland, and again, it's why I compare it to the newer Star Wars movies. The characters don't really have any oomph, they don't really have any punch. They might have some relatability, but that does not a good character make, in my opinion. I just thought the story would be better if it was... If Flynn was the star, I think I would have preferred that, because Sam was very much a nothing character. I think I got him confused with, like, the main guy from Avatar more than once.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Olivia Wilde was pretty fun as a Cora. Sheen, great as Zeus, he was fun. Jeff Bridges had his moments. Renslow was pretty dope. And visually and musically, it's great. So aesthetics-wise, nothing to complain about. I also like what little Bruce Boxleitner had to do here. But otherwise, this is like I would say a 7 out of 10, honestly.
Yeah, you're talking sort of 6, 7 out of 10 for this one, definitely.
So, yeah, I guess we'll see you tomorrow for another HellfireComms Third Disneython commentary. They can't all be 9 out of 10s, guys. It's fine. See you next time. Bye-bye.